Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys can see up on the screen, today I want to talk a little bit about Sofi Technologies Incorporated. This is ticker symbol SOFI for those of you who are maybe not familiar with the stock or with the company. And today was a very, very good day for Sofi. Kinda out of nowhere, kind of a surprising upward day. Sofi was up 5.61% on the day today. Yes, we are down 0.42% after hours, but when you're up 5.61% during the day, it doesn't really matter if you give up 0.4% after hours. It's still going to be a very, very strong day overall, and it gets even crazier when you look at the rest of the market. This was not a majorly green day in the market. The Dow Jones was actually down 0.5%. S&P down 0.38%. NASDAQ was actually green, but just barely 0.18% up on the day. And the Russell 2000 was actually down 0.39%. So not only was Sofi up, it was up an extreme amount, almost 6% a single day. That's a crazy day, but also on a day where the market was down and at best it was relatively flat. So this was kind of weird, kind of random, kind of crazy, but obviously if you're a Sofi investor, shareholder, or even somebody who's just kind of on the fence and maybe, thinking about buying in or getting in or whatever, pretty interesting that this day was so good. And in this video, of course, we're going to be talking about all the latest for Sofi stock and Sofi the company. Starting with this, this was kind of an interview or a piece that came out with CNBC.com. And this is Sofi's Liz Young, who says, we're finding out that crypto is not bulletproof in an inflationary environment, which is kind of interesting. I think this matters in a couple of ways. One, obviously, being the fact that Sofi deals in crypto. You're able to obviously do some transactions with crypto, invest in some crypto and stuff. And a lot of who Sofi is going after are these younger investors, maybe investors who are more inclined to be investing and using cryptocurrency. So when crypto goes down, it's not, exactly super exciting for all of Sofi's investors, and some of them could be having less money. It could be overall a bad time, and just when crypto's not doing as well, obviously places that exchange in cryptocurrencies are maybe going to get hit by that a little bit. Overall, I don't think this is a huge deal for Sofi, but it was kind of also interesting just that they were out there on CNBC, and this was one of the top news stories of the day, involving Sofi, even tangentially or anything like that. But yeah, kind of an interesting thing, everywhere in the market is getting hit, and I also think this makes a cool point for Sofi, the fact that, hey, stocks were down today, crypto getting killed today, a lot of things are getting hit hard, and Sofi is having a very, very good day. Sofi still with a very, very strong showing. Makes it even more impressive when there was really not a lot of other safe places in the market besides Sofi. We also have this from InvestorPlace.com. CEO Anthony Noto keeps buying Sofi stock despite a potential reverse stock split. Noto's conviction in Sofi stock remains strong. Now, again, Sofi has maybe been considering a stock split, or they're at least, wanting to vote on giving them the ability to stock split if they do find it necessary or find that it would be a positive thing or whatever. And a lot of people are taking that as a bad sign. Reverse stock splits have a negative connotation surrounding them. Usually it's only companies who are struggling that would even do it. Obviously, to even want to consider one in the first place, your stock has to be going down. Usually if your stock's going down, it's because your company's not doing so good. I don't necessarily think that's the case for Sofi. I think obviously Sofi stock is going down because the market as a whole is going down. Yeah, Sofi is having a rough 2022. They are down, 62% year to date. But surprisingly and kind of crazily, you can find a ton of stocks with this exact same graph. You can find a ton of stocks that are down 50% plus year to date. Am I saying Sofi has no flaws? Sofi has no issues? Sofi is a perfect company. They're doing everything great? No, not at all. Not by any means. But I will say that if this was, 2020 or even like 15, 16, 17, 18, that I don't think Sofi would be down 62% year to date. So, them considering a reverse stock split isn't necessarily because the company's struggling or anything like that, so that makes it a little bit more interesting. They're just worried about their stock price going down and down and down, and that looking bad, and that potentially being a sign of weakness or a sign that they really don't want to get into, penny stock territory or anything like that and getting that whole basket of stocks. So they just want to keep the price high. I can see people being against it. I can see people being for it. But again, I think it is very, very cool. And I think overall it's a good sign that, hey, Noto's not worried. He's still buying the dip. If Noto all of a sudden stopped buying the dip and the company was talking about a reverse stock split, that would be way more concerning than him, still adding, not insanely aggressively. And this is the counter argument that people always say. They're like, oh, Noto's so rich and he's barely buying any stock. Well, still, rich people hate burning money. Rich people hate losing money. Rich people don't just want to throw away their money for the sake of it. He's buying because he thinks he's going to get a positive overall return on the money that he is investing, obviously. SoFi CEO Anthony Noto purchased 33,000 shares on June 10th, 4 days ago. The CEO bought the stock several times this month and now owns a total of 3.46 million shares. So again, Anthony Noto obviously has a lot of skin in the game. He has direct incentive to see this company doing well and for this stock price to be doing well. And again, SoFi stock is down more than 60% year to date. Thought this was kind of an interesting meme from SoFi stock subreddit. Noto buying when others are fearful. And again, Noto, he's here. He's buying at $5. He's buying at these prices. Again, he bought on June 10th. The stock was $5.90, right around there. And yes, if you look at the 1 year, this stock has been 52-week high of 24.65. He is buying the dip. He's buying this thing very, very close to the 52-week lows. Yes, a ton of other people were buying the stock at 20, at 15, at 10, at 8. And he did buy some at 10, and he did buy some at 8 and 7 and 6, but he's buying more at 5. And again, this is a time when not many people are loading up, yet people are still talking crap about him for not putting more of his money where his mouth is or whatever. We also have this. Anthony Noto's on a mission to buy the dip as many times as possible. Again, just talking about him loading up. He bought 46,000 shares at a price of $5.37. This is from June 13th for a total of like almost $250,000, increasing the ownership by 1%. Anyone who really doubts this stock, check the insider buys. Again, we have Noto. We have Harvey Schwartz, the director. Again, we have Micah Hevener, the head of operations. All different kinds of directors are buying strongly through March, through May, through June, and a lot of people are taking this as a very, very good sign. Again, watching those insiders closely. Also, this was kind of interesting, talking about the AWS of finance. This is a Galileo kind of picture that somebody posted, and obviously SoFi owns Galileo, and there's a lot of people who are excited about this arm, this branch of the company, and what they could do headed forward into the future. I know Galileo is a really, really cool and exciting piece, a cool and exciting part. We will see, how they're able to, kind of operate this thing going forward in the future. Everyone's calling it the AWS of finance. If it ends up being that, then SoFi is going to be a very, very valuable company at some point in the future, because obviously they do a lot more than just Galileo. This guy says, RE, the potential reverse split. People who are against a reverse split potentially happening, isn't a reverse split better than the risk of delisting? And this guy says, the moment the company focuses on profitability and becomes a printing cash machine, as it should, then they can reverse stock split how they want. But we came from 24 to 5. Imagine reverse stock split 10 to 1, and then come again down from 50 to 10. For example, it's really difficult to recover from that. I don't want to be in that position. Again, it seems like the average SoFi investor, shareholder, again, the retail trader, really does seem to be against this reverse stock split, and I definitely understand. This guy says, reverse stock split, understand the facts before you vote. He said, I was one of the SoFi investors who initially cringed at the thought of a reverse stock split. Then he goes on to explain, why he's maybe in favor of it. And this guy here says, your initial cringe will be shared by most investors, and they will never get past it. Vote no. And I do think that's a very, very interesting opinion and take there, because I do agree that the average investor is going to do very surface level research, is going to have very surface level kind of decision making process and all that stuff. Obviously, the big money is going to go more in depth and do more crazy stuff, but overall, especially initially, especially in the short term, people are going to see reverse stock split. They're going to know what that usually means. They're going to have preconceived notions about it. And overall, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. And overall, I don't think it's going to be that good of a move for SoFi. And then finally, the last interesting point, SoFi has not increased interest rates. Approximately 3 weeks after the Fed increased the base rate by 0.25%, SoFi increased its checking and savings rate to 1.25%, I believe from 1%. It's been a month since the last hike, and SoFi has not increased its rate. Do you think this is a good or bad sign? Personally, I'd like my savings rate to increase, but I know it's only a couple of bucks a month anyway. However, I want to make sure SoFi is still attracting new members. And this guy says, I think they're waiting for the next hike before increasing rates again, so they're not tied to increasing rates point for point alongside the Fed, which I think is a very, very fair point. But if the Fed does keep increasing rates and SoFi doesn't ever increase their rates, I think that definitely could be a bad sign overall, especially as rates increase everywhere. SoFi does risk potentially not being the market leader anymore at some point in the future, but we'll have to wait and see. Pretty much over this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about SOFI. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, save today, and all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.